The following presentation is for mature audiences only.
Who are you?
He's a fine man.
All hell is broken loose.
He's a great broadcaster.
He's a very powerful guy. Absolutely brilliant.
Feared by men, adored by women.
He's a smart boy.
It's patriotic.
It's no big deal.
It's the end of the world.
I might as well tell you now. He's a monkey.
And how you doing, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages? Welcome in to another edition of The Wild Side with Eric Clark. I am your host, Eric Clark, saying thank you for taking time out of your busy day to give my video a watch and a listen. If you like it, like it. If you think others are going to like it, share it, man. You know the drill. Make sure you're following me on all the social media platforms and you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. That way, if there's a band, song, video, something you want me to check out, I have to see, you can hit me up with a DM, no spamming, or you can leave it in the comments below. If you're going to leave it in the comments below, join the ICA. You're going to see that a lot in the comment section on my channel, the I Concur Army. Only you can concur with a song suggestion. To join the I Concur Army, it's easier than my sister. All you have to do is read through the comment section. If you see that your suggestion has already been made, just do me a favor. Leave a like and reply with I Concur. That helps my old burnout resin-coated DJ brain get everything into a nice little organized list, and then I can put it into the handy-dandy notebook. So thank you to everybody for joining the I Concur Army. It is a blast seeing that pop up on social media, on my pages, on other reactors' channels. It's funny. I like it. And it shows you're paying attention. So thank you very much for that. Another way to get your suggestion to me, every Saturday, 2 p.m. Central Time, U.S. time, we do the live stream, the Wild Side Live, 2 o'clock for 2 hours. We just sit and hang and chat. No politics, no religion. So it's mostly about music, movies, pop culture, things like that. And it gives you an opportunity to drop your suggestion. And you can also ask me questions about my 30-plus years in music radio and the stories I have and all that other stuff. So every Saturday, 2 o'clock, U.S. Central Time, you have an opportunity to sit down and have a live chat with me, the Wild Side Live. Before we get started in today's video, thank you to Aspen Dental, Connect 200, Music to See, Gothic Jewelry, and Aunt Betty's Nut Butter. They are the reasons I'm not asking you for money, so thank you very much to the show's sponsors. Today's video is coming from live stream suggestion, which was later reinforced on social media. So I had done a reaction to Blind Guardian previously, and someone had liked it and said, hey, you need to check out this track. So today we're going to go back to 1998 and we're going to grab a track from Nightfall in Middle Earth. It's called, I'm getting a little Tolkien vibes going on here. We're checking out Blind Guardian live with Mirror, Mirror. Here we go.
Mirror, mirror on the wall!
These vocals are awesome. Perfect metal vocal, man. change. Good change. Nice. Blind Guardian. Blind Guardian with Mirror Mirror from 1998's album Nightfall in Middle Earth, the live version. I cannot say this enough about Nuclear Blast Records. They are just absolutely cranking out some of the best metal that has been coming out for the past 10, 20 years. I don't know, man, but Nuclear Blast has never let me down. So big props to the A&R folks at Nuclear Blast, because you're doing a really good job of cultivating talent. And it's really making a massive impact. And I'm almost worried that a bigger label's going to snatch it up and corporatize it and create something that it shouldn't be. But I really do love how Nuclear Blast is just, when I see that they're involved with a band, when someone suggests them to me, I'm automatically excited about clicking that link because I know it's going to be quality. I spoke about this the last time I talked about Blind Guardian. I'll do the Holy Trinity for you. For those of you that are regulars, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you that are new to the Wild Side, when I look at a live show, I'm looking for three things. There are three things that I'm looking for to evaluate what I'm seeing. So one of the first things I'm looking for is, what is the vibe between the band and the crowd? So when I'm asked to go, and I'll be asked to go evaluate bands at shows, especially rock bands, the first thing I'm looking for is, what is the chemistry between the band and the crowd? Is it an adversarial relationship that they have? Is it a passive relationship that they have? Is it an engaged relationship they have? So the most important one that a band can have in those choices would be the engaged one. You don't want to be adversarial with your audience, and you don't want them to be passive either. You don't want them to just be walking around. I've seen this at shows where people are just kind of walking around on their phone. You want to engage as many people with that moment as possible, because you want everybody to walk away feeling that individual connection whilst in a crowd. Because that's the great thing about music, isn't it? It's one of the great things about metal, especially the energy that's created in the room. If it meets in the middle between the audience and the band, it creates this beautiful color spectrum of energy in the room. And it really does add, it's almost like an added instrument to the band, the connection that they have with that crowd. And watching Blind Guardian, even in the previous video, what I've noticed is they have everyone engaged. Everyone is engaged with them. And Hansi, the lead singer Hansi, he's 30 years he's been doing this, man. So he knows what he's doing. This band knows how to captivate an audience. And Hansi's really good at being an individual thread between all of the audience members and that moment in the show. So he's brilliant at his crowd control. He's brilliant at his stage presence and his command of the moment. So when you have someone like that, who, it's not that Hansi engages the audience, it's he pulls you into the moment. And that is that added instrument, isn't it? It's that added vibe in the room that you're getting that you can't really put a finger on. And then you walk away and you're like, man, that was a really good show. That was really into it. But you feel this very direct, unabated personal connection to the creation of the sound that you love. And that's the personal link that you make with the band, isn't it? That personal connection. And when you see them live and you engage with them live, it solidifies that connection that you already had. It just adds more chemicals to the relationship that you have with the band. And Hansi's really good at forcing people, not against their will, because you're willingly going into the blades, you're willingly jumping into the maelstrom with him, but you feel safe because his vocals, Hansi's vocals, and I want to talk about that as well. So they've nailed the connection in the Holy Trinity of vibe between band and crowd. Now let's talk about the vibe that is created by the band for the song. That makes sense. So what they're creating is, and I wrote it down, it's perfect. It's a perfect folk metal vibe in this track. You can call the band whatever you want, but in this track, it is a perfect folk metal vibe. Music is layers, and the better the composer understands layers better than others. So this song is created, its layers are perfect. So while you're hearing the traditional metal instruments, you're also hearing the traditional folk instruments, whether it's coming from the keys or whatever. But you're hearing that traditional, is it a lute? Is it a, you can't really put your finger on the folk connection that you're making, or let me say traditional sound that you're hearing. So it's a perfect blend of those layers. So while you're getting a folk layer over here, those drums are just taking you into that metal vibe. And then everything around it is creating that legacy sound that you're looking for. Anytime I'm introducing people to new music, or anytime new music is introduced to me, I am listening for a thread of familiarity, something to provide me a comfort zone. Nobody likes change, nobody likes the strange, right? Well, I don't want to go off on that joke. So you want to have some element of familiarity in your tone. And their tone, dude, is steeped in metal. It is just absolute metal, isn't it? It's just thick and rich and wide, and it covers the entire spectrum. And I love the dual guitars because what they're able to do is harmonize. When they're harmonizing those guitars, it's creating these not competing levels, and they're not antithetical, but they're different, and they're creating the one sound. So it's a brilliant layering of sounds, all kind of strung together and adhered by Hansi's vocals. And what I wrote down about his vocals is that his edges are very smooth. Normally when you have a commanding metal voice, you get a very stark tone. You'll get very sharp edges to certain words and phrasings and how things are ending. And he's German. And German is so I love about German, the way that the language is used, it creates this one of two things in German. If you speak German, you're either going to sound like a milkmaid, or you're going to sound like, signs of papers, old man. So it's a very fine line between the two. And what Hansi does is he meets it in the middle. So he shaves off those rough edges. But what he does is he adds a power to the softer tones. So it creates this really unique tone in him that it is commanding. It is metal. It's gritty. It's gravelly. It's got that dirty earth tone to it. But the way he projects and the way he controls his range fluctuation is extremely, extremely smooth. And that's what makes that familiar connection, doesn't it? It's that softness to the it's like a Nerf sword. I don't even know how to describe it because it is unique. But I love how Hansi does that. And I appreciate that he's a metalhead with a regular haircut. I really do appreciate that he in no way feels compelled to, zip it to the skin or grow it to his knees. I really appreciate that he looks like he just stepped out of teaching a geography class to go up on stage and sing metal. He'd be the cool teacher, but he still kind of has that regular dude look. And I like how he embraces that. And in no way, shape, or form does the image of the band add to or take away anything. That's what I like about Blind Guardian, is they're just a metal band. There's no pretense to them. There's no hidden agenda here. It's just they're having fun. They're writing good music. They're creating great imagery. They're creating great tones and color patterns in the spectrum. So they're just doing what they do, and they've been doing it forever, man. These guys are consummate professionals, and I know that pretty much anything these guys put out, I'm sure they've got some tunes that some fans don't dig, and that's just normal for a band over 30 years. It's going to happen. But what I like about Blind Guardian is their consistency and their legacy. I don't call it tradition. I think what Blind Guardian is at this point is legacy. I think they have very well established themselves in the pantheon of metal bands, and I think their bona fides speak for themselves. So yeah, just a great band, great tone, great vibe, great control with that crowd. And I love when a singer can just take a verse off. I think it's totally cool when the crowd can replicate, as you know, as hard as it is for a crowd to do. But I like when a crowd can step in those moments, because again, it creates that really cool, unique, individual experience that even though there's 20,000 people in the crowd, what Blind Guardian does is they leave such an indelible mark on the individual that they forget that they were in that crowd and they thought that that was about them. And it's just really brilliant how a band can get someone to turn their own logic over to fanaticism and be totally at peace with it. I think it's just brilliant. So thank you very much for that. Blind Guardian with Mirror Mirror, Nightfall in Middle Earth. That was the live version from 98. Crazy. So good job, man. Good job. Great suggestion. Again, if you have a suggestion, band, song, video, something you want me to check out, make sure you're linked up with me on social media or you're subscribed to the channel. That way you can hit me up with a DM, no spamming, or leave it in the comments below and join the I Concur army. It's all you have to do, man. It's real easy. Also, Saturdays, 2 p.m. Central Time, U.S., we do the Wild Side Live. 2 hours live stream. You get to sit down and make your requests, suggestions, and I can get them into the handy-dandy notebook, and I can answer all your questions about radio and, you know, being adjacent to rock stars for 30 years or, you know, my crazy stories from that industry. So whatever you want to know, I'll try to answer as honestly as I can. Saturdays, 2 p.m. Central Time, the Wild Side Live. Thanks to our sponsors, Aspen Dental, Connect 200 Music to See, Gothic Jewelry, and Aunt Betty's Nut Butter. They are the reasons I'm not asking you for money. And thank you to all of you for helping me on my journey in the new music. You are my Sherpas, and I appreciate it greatly. So thank you very much for all of your help and your understanding and your patience. Make sure you're looking out for each other. Make sure you're looking out for your neighbor. Try to do at least one good thing a day. I am Eric Clark, and this has been The Wild Side.